Welcome to today's class. Our class today, we are learning about entrepreneurship. In this subject, we'll be able to learn a lot about it. And for the startup, this is the best site for you. If you're starting a business course or accounting course, then subscribe to this channel so that you can have an update whenever we have a lesson covered. So we'll start by definitions of terms in entrepreneurship, starting with who is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a person who identifies business opportunity and obtains the resources necessary to initiate a successful business activities. Note that this is a person who identifies a business, then gathers the resources and start the business, and start the business with a name that in the future will make a profit. Now let's have other terms defined, like what's self-employment. Self-employment is where an individual start a business on their own with a name that they rely on that business for a living. That is, this work independently and earning a living from it. We have another term, intrapreneur, which means these are unemployed staff or a manager who innovate for the company and take risk only on behalf of the employer. So unlike the self-employed, who we are now referring to be the entrepreneur, an intrapreneur is a person who is working on behalf of the company so that he can be able to make decisions for the company, and every risk that is taken, it is the employer who bears that at the end, but he is the one to cover everything before it reaches the employer. So let's go to the term entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship meaning it is derived from what you have defined, entrepreneur, and it refers to the process of identifying a business opportunity and obtaining necessary resources to start a business with the aim of making profit. So in entrepreneurship, we have to first of all have the idea, then obtain the resources for that business idea. Then from that we start the business, and whenever we start the business, we usually aim on making a profit. So that's the meaning of entrepreneurship. Let's get to the characteristics of an entrepreneur. The first characteristic is focuses on profits. An entrepreneur cannot work without profit being part of the priority. So successful entrepreneur always have the profit margin in sight and know that their business success is measured by profits. So at the end, there must be profit. So he can be having chances, but he'll pick the chance or an opportunity that is profitable. Another characteristic is risk bearing. Being an entrepreneur, you have to consider uncertainty and come up with a decision to follow them to the end, even though they are hard. So entrepreneurs are the person who take decisions and uncertainty, and thus they are willing to take risks, but they never gamble with the results. They know that their effort will bear good profits. The other characteristic is discipline. They are disciplined. Whenever they are operating, they behave, and they don't make jokes when it comes to something pertaining to the operation of the business. So successful entrepreneurs resist the temptation to do what is unimportant or the easiest, but have the ability to think through what is the most essential. So they pick what is essential. They cannot gabble around with something that cannot give them what is supposed to be done. So their behavior is geared toward productivity of what they have started. Another characteristic is self-confidence. They know they need this confidence whenever they are negotiating, whenever they are approaching a certain risk process. They must have the confidence to approach it so that they can gain from that. That is, entrepreneurs should have extreme self-confidence. Other characteristics are like persistence and patience. These are the people who don't give up even when things get tough. An entrepreneur is known by taking repeated actions to overcome obstacles. Sometimes they fail, but they don't give up. They still persist. They continue to a point where they'll start making the profit. Another characteristic is efficiency orientation. They are oriented in making things happen, find ways doing things faster and cost effectively. They will go to areas that they'll know this can take lesser time and produce more. Those are the areas that these people will check on. That is efficiency in their business or their startup. Another characteristic is persuasion. They persuade. That just doesn't happen. It is not by luck. They have to be there and negotiate completely. They convinces people to buy the product or services. They just don't open the doors and wait for the customer to come in. They initiate mechanisms to make the customer come in, like marketing, so that they can have customers within the reach of the business. Another characteristic of entrepreneur is quality oriented. They know they need to convince customer fully, and one way to convince a customer to buy a product is by providing the best quality for that item or for that product that they are buying. So acting to do things that meet or beat existing standard. So there is a standard that are there, they are offered by the competitors, so they have to come with the quality. Could it be all others are selling the same price, the same product with the same prices, but how do they make their product better than the others? So they are quality oriented, so they can attract more customers than their competitors. Another characteristic is creative and innovators. They don't just stick to what they started with. They come up with different mechanisms, different ways of operation, and they learn a lot from what they are given by those they find around the business, like customers, and they know what is the best for their business. So they are creative and innovators. They constantly put their efforts introducing new products, new method of productions, opening market, and reorganizing the enterprise to meet the standard, to attract customers, and to be able to deliver their ideas to the best. Another characteristic is dynamic. They change. They don't sit down and say things will happen. They change. If technology changes, they will change with it. Should have ability to accept changes. Entrepreneur can choose the best way to do something, even if it's different from how they want to do it. Sometimes we are compelled by situations or maybe technology changes to change to a certain way of operation. An entrepreneur should be able to change, should be able to accommodate changes that comes along, so that can have a wide variety or a wide range of operation. If we can go to classifications of entrepreneur, we have different types of entrepreneur. You can check yourself along this classification if you are or you want to become an entrepreneur, to see what a nature of entrepreneur you are. The first classification is opportunistic entrepreneurship. These are the entrepreneurs who take chances whenever they find it. The entrepreneurship that identifies, exploit, and execute the opportunities in the first hand, regarded as opportunistic entrepreneurship. When they find something, for instance, there is a gap, they take that and specialize in that, and they don't like to lose that opportunity that they have found. So they just take opportunity. For instance, if it is raining, there are those people who come selling umbrella. Those are opportunistic. They within like 2 minutes after the rain drops, then you'll find they are all around and they're selling the umbrellas. They have taken an opportunity. They have taken the chance that it is raining and provide the necessity at that moment. And those entrepreneurs will earn something. They'll make profit from that because they have taken the opportunity, and when everybody is not expecting it, they're already there. Another nature or classification of entrepreneurship is imitative entrepreneurship. They'll find something you are doing and they'll carry it along and reach a wider market for that product, or they diversify on the market for what you have just offered. It adopts and existing technology in countries over the world. You could be serving a small people using your idea. Somebody else comes, take the idea and diversify it and reach more people. So that is imitating what you are, the nature of business that are existing, and then making it reach many people. Those are the one we are calling imitative entrepreneurship, or that's the nature that we are calling imitative entrepreneurship. Another entrepreneurship classification is incubative entrepreneurship. In the incubative, you come up with mechanisms or different ways of operation where you still exist in a business. So you check, I'm dealing with this product. Can I check another product where still you have not exited the previous business or product? These categories of entrepreneur generate and nurses new ideas and ventures within the organization. So you could be dealing with a service, but you have seen another service within the organization. So you don't change the organization fully, you just incorporate the new idea and run it while still running the major idea. That is incubative entrepreneurship. Another entrepreneurship classification is Fabian or skeptical entrepreneurship. These people changes when things are extreme. They don't change at the beginning. They will not change by just seeing technology have changed or something have changed. They will change after considering now they are making laws and they have made enough laws that they cannot get back to the position they were. That when they change, this is not the best way for somebody who wants to become an entrepreneur. So for the skeptical or Fabian, these categories of entrepreneur are cautious and careful in adopting any changes in technology or production process. They are very cautious. They don't just take it. They take it after realizing now this is the extreme and you have now to change. So they are skeptical or they don't want to change according to the changes that comes along with the market, the customer behavior, and other nature. Another types of or classification of entrepreneurship is drone entrepreneurship. This now they are regarded as old school because they are resistant to change. They refuse to adopt new changes in the market and will prefer to stick to the conventional method of production and system. Whether what, they don't want to change. They want to remain in what they started and they believe the initial idea, it is what they can run and they are comfortable with that. So as other people come with the new technology, they will stick to their own technology. If the other people change the product, they'll still be dealing with the old products. So they are old school. They don't change even if there is any change in the market. So those are the classifications of entrepreneur. What are the advantages that one get by becoming an entrepreneur? Is it advantageous to become an entrepreneur? Yeah, it is. There is financial gain. Remember we said entrepreneurs gathers resources, start the business to make profit. So there is that financial gain. That's one of the advantage. Another advantage is self-employed, which leads to job satisfaction and flexibility. When you are self-employed, you don't have many schedules set for you. Rather you do the setting. You are flexible. You can be able to change something in the system. If you're employed, maybe it will take procedure to change something, whether good or maybe productive. It may take time, but when you are self-employed, then you are flexible and you get some satisfaction. Another advantage is provide job opportunities to the unemployed or those seeking better jobs. When you start a business, remember you're not just starting it for you, and that's why you have the social responsibility. You have responsibility to community. So you'll seek, there are people who will seek that job, and you cannot work alone. So you'll find there are people who will come along and you provide job and they'll assist you to move the objective of your idea. So you provide job opportunities. The other one is a means of opening up new industries, especially in the rural areas, facilitating globalization. In another perception, you'll find the moment you start in a business, you're creating an avenue for people to realize that these opportunities have come in our society. So in the rural areas, which is not doesn't have received much development, you come with a business idea. That business idea will help those people maybe access services or products which they were not accessing at the beginning, and maybe they could have taken a long time, or maybe they could have traveled very far to get those services or products. So it's a means of opening up new industries. The other one is a source of generating income and increased economic growth. You're generating income as an individual. You are employing people, so they are earning income, and this in total will lead to economic growth. Not only you who will benefit from it, many people will benefit as they get or generate income from the business that entrepreneur starts. Another one is facilitate competition, encouraging high quality products. If you exist in a business on your own, you may not learn different ways of production, different ways of even customer relation become an issue. But the moment you have introduced a new business or other business have been introduced, then that competition that comes in make people think of how can I do best so that I can be smarter than the other business, and by so doing you'll find the quality of the product or the services goes up. Another advantage is facilitates production of more goods and services. When you create a business in a certain area, remember you're increasing the goods or services in the market, so the production increase, so there is scarcity elimination. People will have enough that they can purchase from because you already started that business. The advantages lead to the development of new markets. You have come with a new idea in the market, and maybe in that market, that location, that area, there was no other idea like or business that you have started. So that's a new market created. So people will be associated with that as a new market or new product in the market. So the other one is promote use of modern technology in especially small scale manufacturing to enhance high productivity. We have said productivity in another point to be that's improved, and this is the way you have, especially competition leads to this. You can use the moment you're coming up with a new business, you'll find that even if you have imitated an existing business, you'll differentiate your ways of doing things. You'll do things in a better way, and most probably you'll apply the modern technology so that you can have efficiency in production. So, and when you use the modern technology, then the productivity arises. So those are the advantages. What are the challenges of one being an entrepreneur? If you become an entrepreneur, there are challenges that you will face, and you have to get the muscle to overcome it, or to be resilient enough to move along. Some of the challenges that you find as an entrepreneur is long working hours, especially when you are starting. You are working on your own, so you have to work for long hours so that you can realize the productivity. All the hours will be dedicated to the business to ensure that you get to meet the objective of that business. Another one is poor pay. At the start, you don't expect many customers because not many people maybe have been reached by the new product, or maybe you are new in the market, then you will not get much income. So there will be poor pay at the beginning, but as you move on with the entrepreneur, in future you may realize even better pay than even the employed persons. That one is unclear future. You have started, you don't know what will happen in the future. You never know, maybe the systems or the technology you are using could be outdated within no time, and then the business finishes, but you still move on. So you don't know about the future. That's a challenge. You're not clear about what may happen in the future and how the future will affect the business operation. The other challenge is fear of losing all that has been invested. You have invested, you don't know whether it will pay you back, whether it will be profitable. So you have that fear of losing what you have been invested. Unlike an employed person, that person just wake up, go to where he is employed, the station, and work, then the evening go back home. The fear is left with the owner, because if whatever is invested is lost, then everything will be lost along that side. The other one is bankruptcy and closure. When maybe you have borrowed a loan and you don't have money to pay, the business is not doing well, then you may end up losing even what you have, and you close a business at the end. The other challenge is fear of delegating. Maybe this is an idea that you came with, and maybe it's a special idea, and when you share with others, maybe they cannot know the objectives that you have in mind. Maybe they will deviate from the ideas as you started the business with. So you fear that maybe delegating the responsibility may lead to the poor management of the business that you have started. So that's one of the challenges. The other one is the problem: do it yourself and know it all. Sometimes it's good when you have an idea or you have started a business to share and get and gather advices from people in a wise way, where you are filtering the idea. But if you go with a mentality that you know everything and you do everything, then you may end up not doing the right thing. You may end up not learning what is changing, and this can be a challenge to the business. The other one is competition by established businesses. Remember, you are starting a business, and when you are starting, nobody knows about your product, so you have to put in place marketing strategies so that you can reach the customers. There are other who already established the market. They have already done proper advertising of their product. So competing with these businesses that are existing could be challenging, because before you reach to their level, they already put in other mechanisms. So competition is another thing that challenges an entrepreneur. The other one is lack of funds, especially before break even. Break even is when you make profits, or when you are able to meet all your cost, and you can now start earning. Funding, at that moment you'll be taking your personal finances or fund to fund the business, because it cannot be able to pay you at that moment. So you may be not having enough to boost the business operation, and that can be a challenging for an entrepreneur. Another one is mismanagement by employees. Remember, you need to employ or give jobs, if possible, to people who can carry your objective along. And if you find people who do not know what was the essence of you starting a business, then they may mismanage the business, and you may end up closing the business. So hope you have enjoyed our class. You have learned about entrepreneurship. This is lesson 1. We have a lesson 2 coming up, and subscribe to our channel so that you can get all lessons and learn with us. If you like what we are doing, kindly comment, subscribe. You can even share to the others so they can learn from it. Thank you very much.